returning to their locker rooms. Pierce later confirmed the spitting story on Twitter. This was crazy to me. Shannon, what does this tell you about Pierce and LeBron and their relationship?
Well, it was always personal with Paul Pierce, and although he tried to downplay and says he's being objective and yada, 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 we know the vitriol that he displayed towards LeBron James, it was always personal. Now, Skip, I get that when LeBron came into the league, he was very hyped. We had never seen anything like this. 17-year-old kid on Sports Illustrated going straight from high school to the NBA draft and said he's the chosen one. He's going to be this and that and that. Now, Skip, this is no different than any sport. You come into the National Football League, you come in with a Heisman Trophy or a Thorpe Award or Biletnikoff. Guys are going to see, is this for real? I need to see why you got this award. I need to see if all this hype that you're about is legit. Okay, we're going to put you to the test. Be it mini camp, training camp, especially training camp, and come game time, guys are going to test, is this hype for real? Oh, so, okay, now you legit. But that's as far as it goes. To have a personal beef because someone is better than you. Basically, from the time LeBron stepped into the NBA, he was a better player than Paul Pierce. Ain't no debating that. Maybe his first year he wasn't, but shortly thereafter, Skip, he was better. Now, and I've said this, Skip, and you know basketball, you've been around both sports, you cover both sports. But the mentality of a football player and the mentality of a basketball player is different. Because the way we look at it, Skip, and I think for me, Skip, being from the South, that's almost like saying the N-word. But see, the way I look at it, Skip, if I don't deal with you and you do something disrespectful towards me, I believe you're being disrespectful to me because you know I don't fool with you. Well, Paul Pierce know LeBron don't get down with him like that, but he said he don't think he got on anybody. But see, I'd have had to have a conversation with Paul. I'm like, look, Paul, you and I, we don't rock. So let's just go ahead and let's don't do anything that's going to cause me, the NBA or my fans and your fans to look at us differently. So let's just let's be amicable. We can be friendly. We don't have to be friends. I don't get down with you. You don't get down with me. Now, what you did, you know you were wrong for that. But Skip, man, look here, that spitting thing, like I said, Skip, maybe because I'm from the South and we view that differently. But Skip, ooh, man. Yes, me and Paul, we had to have a conversation. I had to talk to him. I had to have a conversation with him, Skip.
Okay, but LeBron James was not Shannon Sharp. LeBron's different than Shannon Sharp. I've said from the start, LeBron sometimes is almost too nice of a guy. Obviously supremely gifted, but more of a lover than a fighter. This animosity, this resentment, this jealousy, whatever it was, it ran deep in Paul Pierce. And I remind you, Shannon, before LeBron arrived on the scene, Paul Pierce had made 3 All-Star teams. Those Boston teams weren't very good at that point, and he was nicknamed, as you well remember, the Truth. He was the truth. He was difficult to stop. He thought he was LeBron before LeBron. The Paul Pierce a lot of our younger fans got to know later in his career was more of a caricature. He did play with the proverbial piano on his back because he did not keep himself in LeBron-esque shape later in his career. No. And he looked a little bad when he came out in the finals in the wheelchair, remember, and tried to get out of the wheelchair, save the game. Yeah. Okay. That guy was different than this guy because this is all the way back to the preseason of 2004. And he had such deep resentment, I don't know, bordered on hatred of LeBron because I think he saw LeBron as not a tough guy. And yet he also saw LeBron as a huge threat to the truth. So he challenged him to the point of he spat at him. He didn't spit on him, but he said it went in the direction of the bench upon which LeBron was sitting in a preseason game in Columbus, Ohio. And we all know LeBron grew up a huge Ohio State Buckeye fan. So it was really kind of LeBron's homecoming sort of game. And Paul took it so personally, he's going to spit at them. And then, according to Kendrick Perkins, in the hallway after the game, Paul had to be restrained from going after LeBron. I don't know who would have won that fight, I'm glad it didn't happen because it would have been a mess. And Kendrick said that he had to step in and stop some of the other Cavaliers, starting with, I think he said Drew Gooden wanted to get in the middle of it. I'm not sure he would have had much of a shot against Kendrick Perkins. But the point was, that's how deep this thing ran, which is why, in the end, I'm not going to give in to LeBron as a top 5 player in Paul's ranking because he still has deep animosity toward LeBron, obviously.
But Skip, and that happens a lot in our community, Skip. Somebody gets a job. Oh, you got a new job. You think you better than me. Oh, you got a car. You think you better than me. Well, you did this. Oh, you think you better than me. Time will tell. Sometimes a person, they might be better at something than you. That doesn't necessarily mean they think they're better than you. LeBron James was better at the game of basketball than Paul Pierce. Paul Pierce took that as, oh, you think you better than me. Yeah, I am. That doesn't mean I'm a better person than you. I'm a better basketball player than you. So why are you getting upset? We can prove it. We can settle it here on the court. But, Skip, for me, like I said, when you go into a new league, Skip, and you know guys come in there with Buckets Award winners or Nagurski or whatever award they won. Skip, I needed to see. If you won the Buckets Award, I need to see why you won that award. So, okay, Paul Pierce wanted to see why LeBron. Okay, after a while, you're like, okay, dude, legit. He can play.
Okay, I remind you what Paul Pierce was made of, especially early in his career. Do you remember what happened in 2000? Paul Pierce happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time at a nightclub in Boston called the Buzz Club. Yeah. And he got into it, and one thing led to another and another. He got stabbed 11 times in that fracas and lived to tell about it. Knock on wood for him. God bless you. Because that was tough. He got his lung punctured, and he had stab wounds all up in his neck and head. He was lucky to get out of that one alive. But Paul had some of that in him. So I could see where Paul said, let's settle this. Shannon Sharp would say, okay, let's settle it afterwards. I'll meet you in the alley out behind the stadium, and we'll settle this once and for all. I just don't think LeBron was cut from the Shannon Sharp cloth. I get Shannon Sharp and I get LeBron, but again, go ahead.
But see, that's the thing, though, Skip. You have to be careful, is because the one thing that people value, I don't care if the guy is in the street or the guy is the highest to high. They demanded respect now. And Paul Pierce wasn't showing those guys the respect that they deserve. Now, if you don't give a street guy, Skip, when I go, I get my hair cut in what they call in an area that's, but I show everybody respect. Because if they don't, they'll send for you. Now, they're going to get that one way or another. You give it to them. You think because, you in the NBA, you the NFL. Nah, you got to give every man deserves that level of respect. And if you don't give it to him, he'll take it. Or he'll make you fight him for it. And so the thing with LeBron, and that's not how LeBron is built. LeBron is not like that. LeBron wants to be peaceful, all about camaraderie. But, man, sometimes, you got to drop the things, Skip. You got to say, we got to do what we got to do.
All right, guys, CeeDee Lamb is saying he is ready to carry on the tradition of number 88. We'll discuss the details next.